Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. This is a day to reminisce, recognize, and all the nice things your mother did for you throughout your life, and still does, by the way. So many good mothers out there, and as we all know, there's plenty of mothers in the Bible also. But how about the bad mothers? You know, recognized for being selfish, jealous, and mean. I think if you would do that, the trophy would go to that mother in that Psycho movie years ago with that murderous shower scene. Oh, that was scary. I watched that. For the next 3 years, I started taking baths. Remember that mother, or she was dead. She wasn't really real in the movie. But the mother in that movie, and the son's name was Norman, and the mother evidently was in his head, always asking and saying and repeating his name. Norman! Norman! What are you doing, Norman? Oh, boy, I can't yell. But she yelled at him in his head. Norman! Get over here, Norman! Norman! And that movie was by Alfred Hitchcock. Oh, listen to that scary music. Norman! Norman! Where are you? Didn't I tell you to dry the dishes? Clean up the dog poop! Norman! I'm waiting for lyrics, but there's probably not lyrics to this song, this theme. But Alfred Hitchcock, he was the guy that put that movie together. He was famous for taking very common things in life and making them fearful. There it is. Help! The shower scene. Crazy Alfred coming up with that. But he took those common things and made them fearful, like that shower scene in particular. Also a common bird in that movie, The Birds. You know, the only thing more terrifying than his movies was his impending heart attack. Yeah, with that big, huge belly of his. He always displayed it in that classic shadowy signature profile of his. He would always wear a black suit and a black tie. And at the beginning of his TV shows, he would do that. He would come out on that side profile, displaying that gut. How'd that theme music for the TV show? Dun 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 dun, something like that. You get the idea. And I believe each season that belly of his got bigger. He would always start, "Good evening. And now a word from our sponsor." Yeah, the guy talked real calm right before he scared the living daylights out of you. So a good mother on this Mother's Day always starts off as a good wife. Yeah, you ask any guy out there, any single guy or married guy, guys aren't looking for the good time party girl to marry. Nah, they're not. I mean, maybe to date, but definitely not to marry. When you're looking for a young lady to marry, you want her to be a little bit more low-key, a little bit more conservative, who can guarantee her loyalty, honesty, and trustworthiness to you. Now, being attractive, as we all know, that's a big plus. Oh, sure it is. But as we also know, looks always fades. That's why looks is not the most important thing. Like a steak sandwich or hoagie, the meat is not always the most important thing. It's the roll. Oh, the roll. It's so soft and fresh. The roll's the key. That's the most important thing. Like a soft pillow, laying your head down on it. Ah, rolls. So finding a good wife first is the key first to finding a good mother. The book says, the good old Bible, when one finds a worthy wife, Her value is far beyond pearls. Her husband, entrusting his heart to her, has an unfailing prize. Yeah, that's the ticket. Now, especially the first 20 years of your life, or more sometimes, but especially the first 10 to 20 years of your life, your mom always attempts to teach you things with her good motherly advice. You need motherly advice. We all do. As she tries to guide you. And she repeats herself many times over and over and over. But it's important that she does that. I read that there was a study done years ago that a mother has to repeat herself 45 times before the kid listens. Now, I just made that up. I have no idea. A study. But if there was a study, it would be at least 45 times. Maybe more, probably more. The book says, "Hear, my son, your father's instruction." Let's not forget about him. "And reject not your mother's teaching." A mother sets the tone, even inside her belly as the baby's incubating and still cooking. From day one, she brings the care and the love. She's there to protect and correct. You got to do both, protect and correct. And hopefully the kid learns the good things like respect, honor, kindness, compassion, and humility, all that good stuff. Hopefully the kid absorbs that over time. Yeah. That's why the Mother's Day advice over the years is so crucial. Very important for all of us to grow like a healthy flower or plant. And she gives the constructive criticism also, which is very necessary. The book says, "A wise son loves correction, but the senseless one heeds no rebuke." Rebuke. That's a funny word, rebuke. That reminds me of puke. Puke. Is there a word repuke? Like rebuke, repuke? I mean, there should be. I mean, a dog repukes, right? Yeah. They throw up their chow. They eat it again, and then they repuke. Yeah, that word should be a word. I just made it one. You could use it today on your mutt. You better not repuke so-and-so, whatever his or her name is. So even though the kids may not listen at first, especially as teenagers with the motherly care advice on this wonderful Mother's Day, a mother will never give up. No, she's not going to give up. She's going to constantly repeat herself until it sinks into that thick skull of theirs, of the kids. And it is thick, that skull, especially compared to a baby skull, correct? You know, baby skull has more cartilage. They have that soft spot in front, as I recall. So their skull and bones in general, but their skull is thicker. So I can say that. They're thick skulls. Unlike when they were younger, when their heads were more like a Nerf ball for their protection. Because if they fall, they'll be protected.
You need to see it to believe it. Relic Hunter Firing Line has a new awesome 12-lane indoor gun range, rentals, and the largest selection of firearms for purchase. Also available are training classes for both men and women, along with several membership plans to suit your specific needs. Relic Hunter Firing Line is located off Route 145 in North Whitehall. Give them a call at 610-440-1911. Their friendly and helpful service is available to you 7 days a week, as Relic Hunter Firing Line opens every day at 10 a.m. And if you're looking to purchase firearms, you can actually try before you buy. Shoot the gun first in the 12-lane indoor range and then decide. So that's Relic Hunter Firing Line off Route 145 in North Whitehall. Their phone is 610-440-1911, or visit them at their website, relichunter.com. Tell them Robert from Don't Bring Up God sent you.
What can you get at King Cone? How about everything? We have Nelson's and Libby's ice cream, homemade waffle cones, ice cream cakes, banana splits, milkshakes, and plenty of indoor seating. Come drop by and treat yourself, family, and friends at King Cone. Doors open at 12 noon, 7 days a week. That's King Cone at the corner of MacArthur Road and Route 329 in Whitehall. Call at 610-261-1935.
Yes, call up Robert live at 610-720-7900.
Call up to keep him in line, to make sure he holds his place. Or better yet, comrades, call up just to yell at him. Just who does he think he is, anyway?
This show, Don't Bring Up God, is for all of us. Call up to make a point, give a comment, or ask a question. And feel free to be serious.
Yeah, or nonsensical. It's all good. Let's face it, y'all got something to say? You need to be heard. Certainly more than Robert's Bible. The more you talk, the less he talks. And I think we can all agree that's a good thing.
So give a buzz at 610-720-7900. This message is approved by the voice guy. P.S. Please don't tell Robert.
The Health Store, Queens Nutritional Products, where senior citizens get 10% off. It's right on the borderline between Allentown and Bethlehem. I believe it's an Allentown address. But the specials this week, the vitamins, all 25% off. These ones here, Mega Food, Natural Factor, Country Life, and Jarrow, 25% off. And then organic stuff at Queens Nutritional Products. You have almonds at $7.99 a pound, peanuts $4.99, dried cranberries $5.99, and goji $7.99 a pound. And then the specials, always specials at Queens Nutritional Products. Walnuts $4.95 a pound, California pears $4.99, cashews $5.99. What else we got there? Raisins $2.50, and Black Mission figs, oh yeah, $3.99 a pound. That's all at Queens Nutritional Products. That's a great place. They got all kinds of goodies over there. You need to check that out for sure. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. We're talking about motherly advice. And if the kids listen or not, hopefully they do, but eventually they do. With time, they learn from their mother. And their empty heads eventually fill up with good sense. The kids realize that they aren't always right. Imagine that. And they need help figuring out stuff. No man is an island, except maybe Alfred Hitchcock, perhaps, as we talked earlier, with that big belly of his. You know, if you put Alfred on his back in the water somewhere, he'll float. He'll definitely float. And then if a bird happens to land on him, I think technically, since he's supporting a life force there out in the water, I think he could technically be considered an island, Alfred. I don't think he'd mind that. He'd make some crazy, insane movie out of it. Maybe he did. But yeah, no man an island, for the most part. So we all need the help and assistance from time to time. Do you? Do you admit that? Or are you so smart you can handle every life experience that comes your way? Nah, I don't think so. We all need the help and the assistance from time to time. And who better to get that from the person that loves you the most, which is your mom. You know, any intelligent person should weigh their loved one's opinions before making any kind of decision. That's just being wise and prudent. The book says, plans made after advice succeed. So with wise guidance, wage your war. That's just part of being prepared, don't you think? You know, hopefully your kids, you don't want them growing up to be pig-headed and think they're always right. Otherwise, what's going to happen? Those kids that are pig-headed and think that they're always right, they're going to grow up to be adults who are pig-headed and think they're always right. And we know them. We all know some of them. And that's just not good for anybody. You ever see two pig-headed people argue? It's a cartoon act. It's a carnival show. Oh, they go back and forth like lunatics. And there's no chance of agreement. Everybody knows that. It's like a cockfight. The two people keep pecking at each other. Peck, 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 peck. And they both lose. So the motherly advice on this wonderful Mother's Day should be heeded by all. How many times growing up did your mom look you square in the face and say, "Are you telling me the truth? Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me." And whether you're taking a cookie as a kid before dinner or lying about the car on how it really got dented. Yeah, we were all in those situations. I found that it was always harder to lie to my mom. Not that I did it often, if at all, really. I have to go back and analyze the situation. But it's harder in general to lie to your mom. Her sincere, piercing eyes looking right through you. And nobody likes liars. The board guy might, but in general, nobody likes liars. And a good mother realizes on this wonderful Mother's Day. You see that connection there? You see how sly I am? Oh, yeah, I'm a sly one. A good mother knows you can't build a strong foundation on lies. You can't do it. But the motherly advice is similar to biblical advice when you think about it. Sure it is. The book says, truthful lips endure forever. The lying tongue for only a moment. And Mom, she would always know when you're lying. Yeah, she could tell. She'd melt you down. And you'd have to come clean. And it's better to come clean rather to continue the web of lies. The longer it went, the harder the punishment. So come clean. Just admit you screwed up. And some people don't like to admit that they screwed up and to admit that something is their fault. Like somebody drives into a tree and somebody asks, "What are you doing? How could you do that?" Obviously, it's your fault. No, it was the alcohol's fault. Never can take the fault. You got to get over that one. Just apologize and move on. Don't pile up the lies, one on top of the other. Like lying building blocks. You know, the more you build up the lying building blocks, the more the inevitable crash. The book says, he who conceals his sins prospers not, but he who confesses and forsakes them obtains mercy. So show some remorse and contrition. Confess and stop the behavior. Don't sneak around later and do the same exact thing that night, that week, and you think you're going to get away with it. No, you're eventually going to be found out. Everybody eventually gets found out sooner or later. Yeah, that reminds me of a strange occurrence when I was like in my 20s. Actually 19 or 20 more accurately, I believe. I saw this girl at a party. And you know, when you're young especially, and even now, you always notice attractive females and males, depending on the sex that you are, most of the time. And when I was 19, I noticed this one, and it's not a crime to notice, by the way. Nice, curvy figures and guys chiseled out of stone. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't take it to the next crazy, lustful level. But anyway, I'm noticing somebody, and she had this curvy butt on her with a really thin waist, an unusually thin waist. And that made the butt more pronounced. It was so curvy. A mid-range thing, curvy. You couldn't miss it. You had to see it and notice it, especially the way she was dressed. And then I saw her like a week and a half later, the same girl, and all of a sudden she was thin and streamlined. She still was attractive and pretty, but her figure, her body was thin and streamlined. I'm thinking, where did that butt go? It's only been a week and a half. It was only a natural question. I'm just saying. I was going to go up and ask her, "Hey, where'd that butt go from a week and a half ago? I saw you at the club. What's going on?" I was later told by a friend, seriously, that she was wearing a big rubber butt. What? I think, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? I was so confused. Yeah, evidently you can go to like Spencer's or one of those novelty stores and buy a big rubber butt and wear it. And nobody would know, just for the attention, I guess. I mean, it had to be the only explanation. Big rubber butt. Ugh. I guess it's better than Botox. But it was a strange situation, and she was found out. I should have told her point blank. Getting away with that. You can't be doing that. All right, back to motherly advice. Mothers, with the beautiful motherly advice that sticks to you to this day, they always asked, what about your friends? Who are your friends? Who you hanging out with? Who you going with? You know, a good parent, a good mother always worries about that. Those external influences, many of them, hopefully not, that may change the behavior that your parents work so hard to develop. And that matters a lot, the external influence. So she asks you about her friends. And the book says, bad company corrupts good morals. Again, all your hard work can go right down the drain with one or two bad apples. And usually it starts around school time. Yeah, right around school time, the trouble begins. I think more and more people are thinking about homeschooling. Yeah, they are. Homeschooling. That's important, more and more compared. If you look at today's society,